Good morning, Mets fans, and happy Wednesday. Happy, I'm not sure. Wednesday, it's the middle of the week, and I think I'm finally ready to admit that the New York Mets are a middle-of-the-pack team at the very best in 2017. And I'm not sure that I can handle it, because I was expecting so much more from this team this year. So it had been a few days since I've been recording anything, or since I have recorded anything. I had a couple of days out of town, and the weekend, of course. And the Mets had two really awesome games to start the second half. Like to the point where I'm watching these games on Friday and Saturday, and I'm thinking to myself, "Holy shit! This is going to happen. They're going to turn it around in the second half." It was good pitching, followed by really good hitting, a lot of runs, just two really fun games to watch. There was some momentum after those two games. I know I always talk about momentum, but I mean, it really felt like it was happening. You know, Cespedes had like 6 hits or something. I mean, none of them were home runs, but Cespedes hit the ball. Everyone was hitting. And then Sunday came along, and Steven Matz tossed up an absolute clunker. Lasted an inning plus. Was awful. The bats were dead. It was just right back to mediocrity, and the good feelings of those first two games disappeared really quickly. And then, we pick up kick off the 4-game series with St. Louis, and drop the first two of those in that series, of those games in that series. So, a 3-game losing streak following a mini winning streak of 2 games. And again, it's just like, no matter how hard they try, they can't seem to get better than 7 games or 6 games under 500. They always seem to revert back to 8 games under. And I've always been a believer. I've always been a you gotta believe rally cry guy, and a supporter of the team, and a real optimist about turning things around. And I've done that through some really atrocious seasons as a Mets fan. And I've never really given up. I feel like giving up in 2017. I mean, I'm really bummed out about where this season is likely going to end up. And I'm finally on board with selling. And, not to unload everybody, not to do a full-on rebuild and fire sale kind of deal, but a lot of free agents, get rid of them, replenish, get younger, get more athletic, get better on defense, for Christ's sakes. Last night's game was abysmal as far as the defense was concerned. I think they had 5 misplays in the first 2 or first 3 innings, and they weren't all errors officially, but my favorite pitcher in the world, Rafael Montero, deserved better last night. He didn't pitch poorly. He didn't pitch great, but he didn't pitch poorly enough to deserve a beating like he got last night. As far as selling is concerned, I do want to bring up one thing. I'd read a couple of days ago that one of the reasons that Ahmed Rosario hasn't been promoted was because it would cause problems with Asdrubal Cabrera. And if that isn't the most ridiculously Mets thing, I don't know what is. That's just absolutely mind-boggling. Here's a guy who, Cabrera was great last year. He's had a terrible season this year, at least defensively. I mean, his offensive numbers are right around where they were at this point last year. Maybe he had a higher batting average last year, but in any event, he's a free agent. He's gone at the end of the year, and of course he wants the Mets to pick up his option, and that's great. But look, he's not the future of this team. The future of this team is rotting away in Las Vegas, while Jose Reyes and TJ Rivera and Asdrubal Cabrera fumble balls around in the infield in New York at the major league level. It's absurd, and it is, again, such a Mets reasoning behind not bringing up Rosario. Again, it's one reason. I'm sure there are others. I'm sure there's probably not even a whole lot of truth to it. But when I read that, I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Call the kid up. The other kid who needs to be called up is Dom Smith, and the roadblock there, Lucas Duda. I really thought there was a potential to trade him to the Yankees, but Brian Cashman acted already and pulled the trigger on a trade for Todd Frazier and former Yankee David Robertson. So a big trade for the Yankees, who are clearly all in this year. Good for them. I'm kidding about being good for them. I hate it. It just drives me crazy that they've had like a 1.5 year rebuild process where they had to be bad, and they weren't even really bad in the process. So they missed the playoffs one year. Poor Yankees. But anyway, hopefully in the next 2 weeks before the trade deadline, the Mets are able to move enough pieces where there's room to call up Rosario and Smith and give us fans something positive to look forward to in 2018, because these guys are the future, and it'd be great to see them now. Game 3 tonight, Mets and the Cardinals. I can't even get that excited about it. I'll watch like an idiot and be sad when the game is over. But I will watch, and I will be back tomorrow to cover the game and talk about how further down in the dumps I can feel about this team. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I appreciate you watching the video. Again, I'm sorry for the delay between videos, but if you're not already doing so, follow me on Twitter at Mr_Met. That's MISTER_Met. And let me know how upset you are about my not posting a video sooner, if that's the case. Or let me know how much you hate these videos, if that's also the case. It's a free country. Let your feelings be known. So, again, thanks for watching, and as always, let's go Mets.